Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to use a dotting tool. Sometimes it's also called a marbleizing tool, but we're going to use it for dotting today to make these flowers that you see on my nails. So if you're interested in seeing that, please stay tuned and I will show you how. For supplies, we'll be using acrylic paint. You can use anything that you can find in your local craft store, and of course your dotting tool. And mine is very old, actually. I've bought it many years ago, and they have ones now that are very beautiful, and I actually just ordered some new ones, so I'm anxiously waiting for them to arrive. But you'll want to use the larger end of your tool and dip it into your acrylic paint, and then literally just dot it onto your nail, and it automatically makes the dots for you. Sometimes you might need to adjust and add a little bit more paint, as you'll see I'm doing right here, just to make it a little bit larger. And then you'll want to use a contrasting color for your center of your flower. And in this case I chose to use red for my center. You'll notice that I made 5 petals. It's better to go with an odd number. If you look at flowers out in nature, most of the time they are not symmetrical. They have an odd number of petals on them, and that'll help to make it more realistic if you stick with using an odd number. I use 5. That seems to work on a normal size nail, but if you're working on somebody that has extremely long nails, you might want to use 7 and maybe even drag the petal out a little bit more so that instead of being perfectly rounded, it'll have a little bit of an actual petal form. If you can picture if you were to pull it and drag it out a little bit more. So you also want to look at the nail and determine whether or not you have room for another flower, and in this case I am going to add another flower on this nail, so that one's going to be coming right up. And again, you just want to make sure that you add your center in a contrasting color just so that it looks more appealing. If it's the same color, it doesn't quite have the same appeal as having that contrasting color there. And once I've completed this flower, I decided that just to give the nail a little more of an wow appeal, and I'm going to use the other end of my dotting tool to put some dots around and just give it a little bit of extra. So you'll see that I went from using the larger end to flipping the tool over, and now I'm using the smaller end, and I'm just going to use some dots. And when I use the dots, I kind of use that same rule of thumb of putting an odd number. So I just kind of look at the nail to determine where I think they would fit in best and put in my dots. And you see it just gives a little bit of extra texture visualization to the nail. The other thing that you can do is add some leaves, and I'm going to use a skinny nail art brush to do that. And I'm using green for the petals and drawing them onto the nail, and basically just kind of pulling the nail art brush through. Just to fill you in on a little secret, I had been testing some other things on my left hand and had my nails on my right hand without any designs or anything on them. So I'm right-handed, but I'm actually using my left hand to do this, and the dotting wasn't as difficult, but doing the petals was a little bit more challenging, and so if you see my hand shaking, that's why. So not quite ambidextrous, but I don't think I did too bad a job considering that I was using my left hand. So for future videos, I will keep note of that and make sure that I have my left hand as the one to draw on. So as you see, I did the petals. I did 2 on the flowers, and you know, as for the petals, you really, there's no rule of thumb there as far as having an even or odd amount. You just want to place them where you see like some open spots and where you think that it'll fit in best. And I'm sorry I'm out of video on this part. I decided to go back in and add some more dots in the center of the nail. Unfortunately, I did not realize that I was out of frame, so, but I do come back in quickly, so I should be coming back in any second now. And then you'll see that I added some more dots in the center and at the top of my nail. There we go. So you'll see in the center and at the top, I just added a couple more. And the next thing that you want to do is top coat that. I used a brand called Cami, and that's a nail art sealer, and I really like this brand. The other thing is that you can put rhinestones on, so instead of having the color paint in the center, you can put a rhinestone in there for some extra sparkle and shine, and I'll demonstrate that for you so that you can see. And the Cami art sealer really does a great job of holding the rhinestones in place, and I also like it for putting on top of the acrylic paint. One word of caution, and also though is caution and a good thing, when you're using acrylic paint, if you get your nail wet, it will remove the paint. So for instance, if you washed your hands in the middle of doing this, you will wash off your design. But the good part of that is you can use the corner of a folded up paper towel and wet that if you make a mistake, and you can just wipe off the acrylic paint and fix your design. So just a word of caution though, you do want to make sure that you completely top coat your design so that when you do go to wash your hands and take a shower or whatever, you know, nothing comes off. So you'll see that when I'm putting on the rhinestones, I'm using an orange wood stick. They do make a tool with a rubberized end or a waxy end that you can use to pick up the rhinestones. I've never used one of them. I just tend to wipe the nail art sealer on the end of the orange wood stick and then use that to put on my rhinestone, and it's been working fine. That's the way I've been doing it for years. So you know, use whatever works best for you. Like I said, there is a tool out there, but I've never used it. So, but do whatever is best for you, and you know, stick to what works and what makes it easier for you. This is just one technique that you can use. So again, just using the end of the orange wood stick and just kind of swiping it on the brush to get some nail art sealer and picking up the rhinestone and adhering that to the nail. And it does give more of that 3D effect and that sparkle and shine as well. I did stick with the same colors, and I put the same color rhinestone as the color paint. The paint really doesn't show through the rhinestone, so it doesn't matter, but you know, just in case if your dot was larger than your rhinestone, you might want to do the same. I don't know that it really makes all that much of a difference though. But once the rhinestones are on there, you do want to seal the whole thing with your nail art sealer, and You can also top coat it as well. I like to make sure that I really get a thick coating of the nail art sealer over the rhinestones so that if you do bang your nail into anything, they won't come flying off. Rhinestones can come off very easily if you don't seal them to the nail very well. So you do want to make sure that you have a nice thick coating on there to keep them adhered well. And the other thing is you want to make sure that you also seal your free edge. So that also helps to prevent any chipping or wearing down of the color. And because I've gotten used to using gel nails which cure immediately under an LED light, I decided to go with some quick dry for this, and I'm going to use the Varoom Speed Dry to do that, and that'll help to dry this a little bit quicker for us. So once again, just adding another layer of protection with my Varoom Speed Dry and covering up my nail completely. I apologize, you can hear my dog in the background snoring a little bit as he's sleeping. And again, you want to make sure that you get that free edge to help avoid any wearing down of your polish. And there you have the finished nail, nice and sparkly and ready for a night out on the town, ready to show your friends and, like I said, have that added sparkle. So thank you so much for watching my channel, and please remember to subscribe, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.